Motherfucker, I'm nutty, and this how you make a motherfucking mold. Alright, first you gonna draw up your design. Make sure you ain't drawing nothing too complex so you can, make that shit with the clay. You won't be in this bitch like Patrick Swayze trying to make some crazy ass shit. Now that you got your design drew, you about to move on to the clay. First you gonna get your clay, then you gonna need some tools. Then you gonna take your drawing and you gonna be looking at your drawing for a reference so you can be smooth and make that motherfucking model good. You can use some extra tools and stuff like right here, and you can start making little shit little details like windows and shit. Next you gonna start sculpting your clay. Alright, you might want to use something heavy in between all the clay so you don't use that much clay because it's gonna cost a lot of money if you try to bake all that clay and shit. So put something in between, like some aluminum foil, some wires, a little box, something that's not gonna fuck it up. Now you want to add in some extra details. You can use some extra tools and stuff like right here, and you can start making little shit little details like windows and shit. I'm saying windows because I'm making a fucking building, so right here I'm making a window and shit like that. About to make a little door, little design on the building and shit, little rooftop and shit. Alright, now I got me a good little clay model for my drawing. It don't look exactly like the drawing, but it's somewhat like that. That's cool. Alright, now that you got your model, you're gonna take that shit, you're gonna put it in the oven and bake that shit. Get it cooked. Alright, you got that cooked, let it chill. Alright, you're gonna take your material that you got, whatever material that you need. All the different material varies and shit with the directions. But with this shit, I gotta mix this pink shit and this blue shit together. So I'm gonna take this shit and I'm gonna pour it together and then I'm gonna mix it. And I'm gonna just keep mixing it, and I'm gonna 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 keep mixing it. I'm gonna keep mixing that shit and keep stirring 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 that shit until it's a nice little purple. Or fucking whatever, pale purple. Whatever the fuck it look like. Alright. Now that you got that, you gonna get it ready for your mold. You're gonna take that material that you just mixed together and shit, and you're gonna pour it all over your baked model. Yeah, pour it all on there. Yeah, get it on there. Get it on there good. Get it all on that motherfucker, everywhere. Alright, you good now. Alright, you got it all over your baked model and shit, good. You gonna let it sit overnight and shit. Alright, you let it sit overnight. Now, you wanna take your mold, that's what you got. It's just a block right now, but you're gonna take your mold and shit, and you're gonna cut it open so you can get your model out. Don't cut too rough, because you wanna put it back together. Alright, you cut your mold open, and now you got your model out. So now, from there, you got a mold. You can put anything in that motherfucker. You can put some wax in that bitch. You can put resin. You can put candy in that bitch. You can put anything in there.